Hello there, it's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Bee. Now I've got these fantastic foam sheets from my local pound shop, and we're going to make a purse today. So to do this you'll need foam sheets of your choice. I know you can buy them separately, and it was just a lucky find. Now I quite like these foam sheets. They're very much easy to sew, they're like sewing butter. And I'm going to make a little owl purse. I know, because everybody loves owls, and it is one of those weird things, isn't it? Owls are in fashion. I know, I just wouldn't have thought it. So, first of all, I'm going to do a front and a back, and I'm going to make his main body this sort of beige. Now, it is quite a sort of soft, warm caramel, so I don't feel too bad. I'm not making a very boring brown owl, but, you know, that's what colour they are, aren't they? And I'm also going to make a back exactly the same. But for his front, I think he needs a nice, soft, round belly. So I can use this as a pattern just to get the bottom. Now, if I was to do this completely asymmetrically, it might look a bit silly. So I'm just going to guess it, and I know it might be a bit wonky. Now he's going to need 2 wings, isn't he? So I'm going to go back to this colour. Again, I can use the curve of this if I want to, just to make a line. And then I can, and it's almost like a teardrops shape, you know. And what we're actually doing here is we're not making an owl per se, we are making the sort of fashion of owls, and it's been around for quite a while. You know, there's most craft stuff does seem to be an owl, doesn't it? You know, oh well. Okay, so big fat belly, 2 wings. He does need his big eyes. Now, obviously I could go for black, but I think I'm going to go for blue because they're going to look a bit more friendly, aren't they? And as this is for a child, rather than me, I think it would just look so much nicer. Now he has got to have feet, and not all owls have ears. I know it's very easy to say that, but you know, some of them do. So 2 big eyes, hope I'm in shot, and I'm going to have 2 yellow feet sticking out. Now, I'm not 100% sure what their feet look like. I'm assuming that they have feet like a duck, but I'm not sure. But then that doesn't really matter, does it? It's whether I'm happy or not. So I'm going to put those in there. So now I have my front panel of my owl, and I can either glue these so that they're held in place, and there's a lot to be said for glue. If we were making something out of felt, which is not as strong, I probably wouldn't be happy using glue, because most of the time what we make with felt is Christmas decorations. And if I put my Christmas decorations in the cupboard, I expect to be able to use them next year. And they probably would be alright next year. But then the year after, either the glue will have gone like yellow and seeped through, or it just wouldn't be holding. But what we're going to do is we're going to put a tiny amount of glue, and we're just going to use the glue to hold it in place. Now, rather than try and squeeze the glue onto the yellow foot, I'm just dipping it in there, and I'm kind of using my foot to spread it around as well. So, and then it's a matter of relaying it, and then we can give it some time just to dry and hold everything in place. So how easy is that? And it's clear PVA glue, so it's nice and safe for children, and also it dries clear, so it's going to be fine. It's not going to be as messy as it looks. Okay, so we can leave that to dry and then we can start on the back panel. I think he looked better before actually. Maybe I should show his tummy. Let's pull that down slightly. And again, nobody's going to know that it's a right mess at the minute. So there we are. And he's going off to the side to dry. Now the pattern I used was a mug, so I'm going to use that pattern again. And I do need my back to join my front, so I do need them the same size. Oh, I shouldn't have done that really, because that's going to mark it forever. Okay. Yes. You can't write on this on anything, okay, because it never comes off, even in a chalk pencil. So, you know, you have to place your pin pattern over the top. Let's just get rid of that, that's fine. Okay, now I'm not going to decorate the back at all, although obviously you could put a nice little tail in there or something. And I'm going to make a start with the zip. So I've got a standard zip here, a standard skirt size zip, and because I don't need to worry about where the start and the finish is, because it's a circle, all I need to do is I need to just sew this zip on. But always best, if you're sewing something around to something straight, is to put the straight thing down and then put the round thing on top. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to have a couple of stitches closed with the zip closed. Now once I've got enough room, I'm going to leave my needle down, I'm going to lift my foot, I'm going to open my zip, and I'm going to close my zip, and then I'm going to put my foot down. Now the reason I've done that is so that the line of stitches is just really nice and straight. Okay, not straight as in straight line, but it's just a real smooth line of stitches. Okay, so, I don't believe I am sewing on the bobbin. Well, that was far too easy. Okay, I'm going to reset the machine and I'll be right with you. Hello there. So, I've resorted my machine. Sorry, my bobbin thread ran out. Yeah, what I'm going to do is, because I gave it also a chance, just to dry the glue slightly so that we can now sew this. And that's all fine. So, I'm making sure that it does not move. Because what kind of happens is the machine pushes the pieces out of the way, you know, because it's supposed to. It's not the machine is being naughty. Okay, so we just keep on going, making sure everything's where it should be. I've now got to the point where the zip needs to be opened out of the way, and there we are. We just continue sewing. I think the glue is still too wet for me to do it now. Okay, alrighty. I'll switch it off and come back tomorrow, I think. Hi, so welcome back. So we're back on the owl. The glue has dried overnight, and yeah, there we go. So we're just sewing the zip on, and yeah, I kind of like the glue, but I think next time if I do glue, I'm going to be a lot carefuler, and I'm not going to smudge it quite as much. And definitely, it needs to dry overnight. So we're just sewing now, and you can see that it really is quite happy. You know, and just coming up to the end there, and that's that. I need to sew the back, or I need to find the back actually. I don't know what I was doing in here last night, but I must have had some fun. Look at the state of the place. Okay, you can go up there. And, okay, we'll just do a new back. That's fine. So I've still got my pattern, which is the bottom of my mug, and the back is going to just be plain grey. So And I also need to make sure that I get another foot in there. So let's just grab a little bit of yellow. Alright, I'm going to keep those safe. And again, when we're sewing something flat, we should move the circle thing around. So let's get that on. Okay, now I've come to the point where I'm up towards the zip, so I have to leave my needle down, lift my foot and close my zip. Yes, and that's the hardest part of the whole sew. So I'm going to put my foot down, even though it hasn't actually clinked down. That's fine, it's just such is life. You know, as long as the lever's down, then the switch will be activated and I'll be able to sew. So let's move it along a bit. Oh, come on, machine. There we are. Although, if the grippers aren't actually touching anything, then the teeth at the bottom, then nothing moves. So here we are, we're just coming round, and you can see that it's not particularly difficult. I get to the end, and then of course I'm going to tidy up my threads, put it round the right way, always a good thing. Now I need to make sure these taggy bits on the end of my zipper are tucked in, but I do need to be careful that I don't actually sew the metal bits of the zip here. So in they go. And you can sort of do it with a pin if you like, and there's a lot to be said for having the zip closed so that the actual, it all joins up, you know. What have I done? So okay, great. Okay, now what I've actually done is, because I wasn't concentrating, is I've sewn it on the wrong side. Now what I suggest, and if you're able to, is I'm going to save the zip, but I expect not to be able to save the foam. So, you know, it's just, it rips like perforation. Even though I've still got it on the longest stitch, it just can't do it. So even, no matter how, even if I unpicked every single piece of thread, it would still just rip. So let's cut the back out again. And, you know, sometimes if you do make a mistake, you do have to choose which thing you save. You know, sometimes you can't save both. And I won't even try to save that, because I know I have enough. And that's that. So, let's go round again. Now I'm going to keep all these bits of foam felts, because if you look at the size of the foot, then I don't actually need a lot, do I, to do something with. So I'm going to keep all my scraps, don't need my paper. This time I'm going to get it round the right way. So I'm going to close my zip slightly so I can sew this beginning bit and then place it under the machine. I still have my little yellow foot. Okay, so coming up to the point, leave the needle down. Difficult bit, which is opening the zip. Didn't expect it to be quite that difficult. And if you can do it this way, it's great. If you can't, then we just take it out of the machine and then try and line up the stitches. But it is nice to have a continuous go, a continuous line round. So, oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Okay, this time I'm going to try and save the stitches. I know, I've done it on the same side twice. And this isn't the first time that something like this has happened. If something goes wrong, it normally goes wrong a couple of times for me. Yeah. So, there we go. Now I've double checked it. I've closed up my zip, and now I'm placing that on there. Lift up my foot. Put my foot down and away I go. Lovely. So, tack in my metal bits, get rid of some of those threads as well, and begin to sew round, making sure that I'm not actually sewing on the metal bit. And again, I might not be able to get this under the foot, but I'm still going to lower the lever. So let's get this going. Stopping when I come to the bit that needs the foot put in. I'm going to do it from this side because I visually need to see where I'm going to put the foot. So now I've come to the place where my foot is, and of course I could have put it in there with a pin, but I'm now going to lift this up and put the foot in between the front and the back. Or I could just sew it on top if it's being a real pain. Okay, so a little owl purse, probably made a big hash of it, but it can be done. And I think it's always a good idea to tell you what can go wrong and when to panic, because, you know, it makes perfect sense to me. Alright, thank you ever so much for watching. My name's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Bee.